Like my friend Bodie Elfman, he always teases me and he says, "Hi, my name is Danny Masterson. Would you like to touch my balls?" You know, doing an imitation of me, because certain words
why
you
are
just
you
can't get
asking
away
people
with.
to do that? That's the more important question.
I mean, you got them.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Accent aside,
Everybody should grab.
that's the more important thing.
Exactly.
I've heard about you, and you'll be caught soon. I know you will.
I will.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Fatso Burger.
Covered in gold chains.
Rock star. Oh, no. Movie star. No. Yeah. Rock star.
Prison.
With Danny Masterson finally being sentenced to 30 years to life in prison on September 7th, there has been so much disturbing information that's resurfaced online since his sentencing that involved more of the cast members from that 70s show. And that's what I'm going to be discussing with you guys in today's video. So in case you don't know the full extent of Danny's horrific case and why he's going to spend the rest of his life rotting in prison, here are the details of what he subjected all of his victims to. The first one is from Chrissy Bixler, an ex-girlfriend of Danny's. The next is from a woman named Jen B, and another from a woman identifying as N Trout. Chrissy B, a former girlfriend of Masterson, said they were involved in a tumultuous and abusive relationship that started after she moved to Los Angeles to pursue modeling. Masterson repeatedly spat on her, called her white trash, and initiated sex with her while she was asleep. One night in November 2001, she awoke to Masterson forcing himself on her, and when she said no, he pinned her down and raped her. Jen B said she became weak and woozy after having a drink with Masterson, who then brought her to his home and raped her while wielding a gun and suffocating her with a pillow. N Trout described a similar experience, saying Masterson isolated her at his house when she grew weak after being served a drink. As she lost the ability to fight, Masterson groped her and digitally penetrated her while she was in a shower before raping her so violently that she vomited. This is already incredibly horrifying, but listen to what Danny says when he's asked this question. What is the best way to make a move on a girl once you've got her back at your place?
Make sure you ask the Masterson his advice, the best way to make a move on a girl once you've got him back to your place.
Oh, you just invite him for a shower.
And then, at the ending of an interview with Star Inside, Danny says that Mila is hot, but she was even hotter at 14 years old.
And I didn't
Working
know.
with me.
Yeah, and she was as hot as she was. You know, come on, this one.
14.
14, she was even hotter. But I'm not allowed to say that.
I do not know how Danny was not arrested and convicted right there on the spot after saying that. And now I want to discuss Ashton Kutcher. So after publicly vouching for Danny's character in this letter to the court that he wrote this year, people began pulling clips of Ashton from the early 2000s in where he was being incredibly creepy towards literal teenagers. In this first clip, when Ashton and Mila Kunis were on the Rosie O'Donnell show, Ashton says that when they both started filming the show, he was 19 and Mila was 14. And the creators of the show needed them to kiss in a scene. And not only does Ashton acknowledge that this was slightly illegal and then go on to flex the fact that he did it, but Mila says that their first kiss was actually a bet that Ashton had with Danny.
What's funny is when she was 14 when we started the show. I was like 19, right?
Right.
And they're like, okay, you guys are going to be making out in this scene. And I'm like thinking like, wait, this is like slightly illegal,
That's
right?
probably your first kiss ever, right?
He was my first kiss. What's some bet you made with Danny about our first kiss?
No, it wasn't the first kiss.
No,
This was like
go
a
ahead,
second or
Ashton.
third kiss.
It was like the first week.
No, it was not the first week.
Whatever. Let me tell you what happened.
No, let me tell you what happened.
No. Okay, so I've never kissed a guy. So I was so. I mean, you know, Ash was attractive, and I was a 14-year-old little girl, and I was extremely scared for my life.
Sure.
And he was very nice about it. He was like, "Oh, don't worry." So I was like, "Okay." Then Danny goes and goes, "Dude, I'll give you $10 if you French kiss her." What would you stick your tongue in my mouth or some?
What? No.
For $10.
You're making it sound like it was like really.
But it gets gets worse because Ashton then proceeds to say that, oh, she was actually 15 and not 14 and that the 1 year makes a big difference.
So Danny bets me like $20 that I wouldn't do it. And of course I'm like, yeah, sure, what's the deal? You know?
And then the cop showed up and you got arrested pretty much.
They should have, but they didn't.
He never did it. And
I so did.
He claims to this day he did that. I swear.
Mila, I so did it.
He never did it?
I didn't let him. I think he tried, but I think I kept my mouth so closed.
Yeah. You did the old teeth block?
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't let him do the teeth block. You were like, oh, you like.
Yes, he never got his tongue.
You were very excited.
You didn't, Ashton. Just admit it.
She
Dad,
didn't come
I
back.
swear.
She's 14.
No.
She didn't. You stop it.
She would know that was not the first. You had turned 15 by then.
No, she was 12, but I know it.
There's a big difference. That 1 year makes the whole world change.
No, it doesn't, Ashton. She was still a minor. That 1 year that you're talking about makes no difference in the slightest. In this next clip, a 25-year-old Ashton is on an episode of Punk'd that was airing on MTV in 2003. And in one of these episodes, Ashton says that Hilary Duff is one of the girls that he's waiting for to turn 18. Because Hilary was only 15 years old at the time. He also mentions that he's waiting for the Olsen twins as well, despite the fact that they were also minors at the time. They were 17 years old.
Hilary Duff is in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18, along with the Olsen twins.
And I think that this user on Twitter said it perfectly. It is not normal to express desire for a child to age quickly so you can sleep with them. In the next clip, a 14-year-old Mila is sitting in the lap of Ashton Kutcher for an interview. And Ashton says, word for word, that the only reason he's doing this interview is not because he thinks the publication doing the interview is good, it's because Mila gets to sit on his lap during the interview.
Hi, my name is Mila Kunis, and I'm from That 70 Show, and you're watching In the Crease TV.
Hi, I'm Ashton Kutcher, and I'm from That 70 Show TV. No, That 70 Show too.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm doing this is not because I think In the Crease is good, but because Jock told me Mila would sit on my lap if I did. And it feels good.
And then in yet another clip, Ashton describes Mila, who is still a minor at this time, as sexy and hot. And then he goes on to brag about the fact that he's her boyfriend on the show and that he gets to make out with her.
Not only do I get to work with our beautiful, sexy, hot next guest on That 70s Show, but I'm lucky enough to play her boyfriend, so I get to make out with her. Okay, a very talented, hot, smart, and beautiful Mila Kunis.
Now, in 2019, during the Hollywood Ripper murder trials, Ashton Kutcher lied under oath about what happened on February 21st, 2001, when Ashley Ellerin was murdered. Ashton testifies that he walked up to Ashley's front door and knocked, but no one answered. So Ashton figured that Ashley left with a friend because she was mad at him because they were supposed to go to that party together. And you want to know the reason Ashton was late? Because he didn't want to seem over-eager. I thought it odd the lights were all on. I didn't want to be the guy looking through her window. Kutcher said, adding that the place looked a little bit of a mess. Then I saw what I thought was red wine on the carpet. But here's what actually happened that night of February 21st in 2001, as told by Growing Up in Scientology.
What really happened is Ashton Kutcher showed up to the house to pick Ashley Ellerin up for her date. He opened the door. He walked into the house. You could not see the body on the floor from the entryway to the house. He walked into the house. He looked over to the area where he saw her dead body lying on the floor. She was stabbed like 47 times, covered in blood everywhere. Freaked out, left the house, and for about the next hour, sat in his car outside the house, calling various members of his team for advice on what the hell to do. And his team advised him that he should not call the police. He should not be the one to report this. It should not be known that he was there. He doesn't want to be the one who discovered the body. That 70s show was only a couple years old at this point. Ashton Kutcher was not a household name. They essentially said, this is all you'll be known for. People will think you did it, all this kind of stuff. This will be what people think of when they think of Ashton Kutcher. You don't want that. Go to the party. Go to the party that you were picking Ashley up to take her with you to. Go to the party and then go home.
Oh, but do you want to know who else Ashton called that night? Danny Masterson.
There's someone else that he called. Danny Masterson. He called frickin' Danny Masterson.
And he told Ashton to do the exact same thing that his team did. Let his then girlfriend lie dead on the floor with over 40 stab wounds and continue to let the Hollywood Ripper get away with it just to save your own ass. Your girlfriend was murdered and all you could think about is yourself and your reputation. But it wasn't just growing up in Scientology who said that this is what happened. Because Chrissy Bixler was also backing him up on Instagram about that night. She heard the entire conversation between Ashton and Danny. But it doesn't even end there, because Wilma Valderrama, who played Fez on the show, is also a total through and through creep. Firstly, Wilma began dating Demi Lovato the second that she turned 18. He literally met Demi when she was just 17 years old and he was 29 years old. In Demi's song called 29, that is literally about Wilma, she says this in the song. Petal on the vine, too young to drink wine. Numbers told you not to, but that didn't stop you. And Demi was literally right on the mark when she said, I see you're quite the collector, you're 12 years her elder. That never stopped him, because he did this again, and then he did it again. Because when Wilma was on the Howard Stern show in 2006, he sits there and he brags about the fact that he took the virginity of his then 16-year-old girlfriend Mandy Moore when he was 21 years old. He proceeds to say that it's just really good, and then he literally high-fives Howard's co-host over it.
I will say this, it is not like warm apple pie. Okay, it is
it's
not like
correct.
that.
Is your penis black and blue after you take someone's virginity?
Exactly. Let's see. How do I put this in the most political way possible? It's just really good.
Yeah. She was a virgin. You took her virginity, dude.
Dude.
High five. High five, Artie. Come here.
Okay. He goes high five him for me.
Wait a second.
Anyways,
did she tell you? Did she say to you, look? Did she say to you, look? I'm a virgin. I'm in love with you. I'm ready now to give myself to you.
But Mandy Moore came out in 2018 and said that he lied about the whole thing.
This guy who was on my show, Vilmer. Valderrama.
Yeah.
Wilmer. Right.
Yeah.
He came on the show and said, "Oh, I think he was caught up in the moment."
He was caught up in the moment.
You comfortable talking about
yes,
this? Yeah.
Sir. Let's do it.
Yeah. He said,
he took my virginity.
He took your virginity.
And he did not.
He did not?
He did not.
Oh.
I dated him when I was 16 and 17.
Then, in May of 2004, Wilma and Lindsay Lohan were spotted hanging out when, again, she was just 17 years old. Are you seeing the pattern here? And again, like Demi Lovato, he waited until Lindsay turned 18 to make the relationship public. That is 3 different girls that Wilma preyed upon. And that's only the ones that we know of. But you remember when he was caught lying about sleeping with Mandy Moore when she was 16? He also did the exact same thing to Jennifer Love Hewitt back in 2014. Valderrama talked about his romantic encounters with Lindsay Lohan, Mandy Moore, and Ashlee Simpson and gave Love Hewitt an 8 out of 10 score in the bedroom. I was told that we had all these very steamy encounters and I was like, really? Well, I would have loved to have been there. So he waits until girls turn 18 so he can make the relationships that he has with them public, but he lies about sleeping with actresses to make himself look Cool. The only man who has not said anything in support or in defense of Danny, and the only man who distanced himself from this heinous cast of men, was Topher Grace. And he has been vindicated after being accused of being antisocial and a jerk to his co-mates for how many years? He didn't want to be around these guys for a reason. Because even Deborah Jo Rupp and Kurtwood Smith, who played Kitty and Red in the show, have sent in support letters for Danny to the court. Whatever desire I had in the past to watch that 70s show has completely evaporated. And that's all I have to say.